What's up, everybody? My name is Lindaluz Carrillo, and I am an urban artist and graphic designer from Hartford. And today we're going to be doing a fun lettering workshop. I'll show you an example of what I've created recently. We're going to be picking a word. The word is love. And we're kind of redesigning this concept. We will be adding color to this at some point. If you have some markers, make sure you have those nearby. But first we're gonna start with the basics. So you're gonna need a piece of paper, any size is fine. Number 2 pencil, or any pencil really works. A ruler. We won't be using this as much, but it will come in handy for a bit. If you don't have a ruler, you can use a piece of paper. And also markers. We have a regular universal marker. I also have a Sharpie fine point marker. These are pretty good to use for stuff like these. And also paint markers. If you are someone that enjoys paint markers, definitely make sure you're using this just for fun. But alright, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to align your ruler at the edge of your paper. You're going to create a border. It's going to look like this, and you're going to go do that all throughout your piece of paper that you have. I'm going to do that really quickly. So as you're doing your border, you don't want to press too hard down. You want to make sure that it's light enough where you can erase it if you want later on. You might want to do that. So I guess just as a rule of thumb in general, when you're sketching out things, if they're not going to be a solid pencil drawing, then you don't have to press as hard. Alright, so now grab the phone so you can get a better angle we're doing. So your paper should look something like this. Right? Doesn't have to be too perfect, but clear enough where you can see the border and focus on the center of the paper. And speaking of the center, so we're going to start in the center of the paper. So my paper is somewhere around here. My center is somewhere around here. So I'm going to start by doing the letter L. I'm going to start with creating a rectangle shape. So my rectangle is going to be rounded. It's going to look like this. Again, press lightly, you don't have to press too hard. And now I'm going to do a horizontal rectangle. Going like that. And now I'm going to create a circle for the O. So I'm going to have my circle or my O be kind of as close as possible to the letter O. I kind of want to create a really interesting effect with that. I really enjoy when the letters are touching each other. And my circle or my letter O is going to be a little slanted. It might even be slightly bigger than the letter L. That's okay. It's going to be in a unique style. So now I'm going to create the oval inside of the O, kind of like that. So again, you don't have to press too hard. This is the beginning of your drawing, so it can be as sketchy looking as possible. Alright, so now I'm going to do the letter V underneath the L. So I'm going to start by creating a slanted rectangle kind of right around here, and then curving it down a little bit right here, and then doing another one on the opposite end so that it looks something like this. And then we'll start adding the 3D after we're done working on the last letter, which is E. So now we're gonna do, for the E, we're gonna do a vertical rectangle. Again, like I'm connecting the E with the top of the V just to create a togetherness of the letters and keep it consistent all throughout. Again, doesn't have to be too perfect. And then we're going to do the top of the E. It's another horizontal curved rectangle. Another one at the bottom. Curved rectangle right there. And then another one in the center. Alright, so now we got love on the center of your paper. Alright, so now we want to add the 3D elements. So on this image over here, we have the 3D going down this way. So we're going to create that same effect on this piece of paper. So I'm going to start with the top corners. So I'm going to start with the letter L. So I'm bringing, and you can use a ruler for this if you like. So you can lightly, with your pencil, start creating that 3D element. So you are looking at this corner right here. There's going to be another corner right here. And you can kind of see how this line is mimicking this line right here. It's all going into the same direction. Same thing with the O. So each edge and corner of a letter is going into the same direction. And then we're going to do that with the V. Right there. The bottom of the V as well. And you're going to do that with the E. So the E has multiple points. There's one right here. There's another one right here. One right here. There's another one here. And then another one right there. And same thing with the top portion of it. So you're lightly doing this with the pencil. You don't have to press too hard. Alright, just want to identify where those points are on your paper and your letters. Alright, so now we're going to close these up, right? So we're going to start with the L. So as you're looking at the L, you know, the 3D is really just mimicking what's already there. So we're going to be mimicking this line that's right here, just further down. So it's almost, because the letters are close together, they're kind of going to be hidden behind each other a little bit, and that's okay. Kind of adds a really interesting effect, right? And the same thing with the O. So essentially you're mimicking this curve that we got going on right here. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to slowly, lightly start curving that mark until it starts to create that illusion. You know, we're creating. So there's that. Again, press lightly. We're going to do the same thing with this V over here. So we're going to mimic this section over here. We're going to curve it like so. So it's not a lot, you know, we're not really curving from all the way, or starting all the way from here. We're really just curving this section right here. And then with the E, so the E has a bunch of different points. Right, so we're going to start with the bottom. So we're mimicking this section right here, using these two. And just lightly start connecting them. Doing this line right here. Curving that. Another line right here. Curving as well. Right here and right here, right? So we're going to do this one. It's mimicking that line right there. And this is mimicking that. So that's kind of what your 3D starts to look like. You can look away from your paper just to kind of see where you're at. If you slant your paper kind of like this, you kind of start to really see the effect of the 3D that you just created. Alright, so now what we're going to do, this is the fun part. You're going to use your marker. I'm going to use my Sharpie. And we are going to outline what we want and what we don't want. So again, this is what I meant by like make sure you are pressing lightly so that when we outline, you don't have to do too much erasing or hard erasing. So I'm going to outline all the important things. So definitely the letter itself. So I'm going to start with letter L. And you want to take your time with this. Make sure that you have a steady hand when you're outlining. And you want to make sure that the thickness of your mark is consistent as possible. I'm going to do my O. There you go. Sometimes the slower you go, the more clean the outline ends up looking like. Same thing with the V. So all we're doing right now is outlining the letters, and then we'll start outlining and filling in the 3D shortly after. So you see how I'm not outlining the shapes that we've created to make the letters. I'm just outlining the letters itself. My Sharpie's starting to give out on me. Might have to get another one. Alright, so that's what you should have right now. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to get your outlines ready as I look for another Sharpie. Alright, so we got the word love going. So I got another Sharpie. Hopefully this one works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start outlining the background or the 3D. And I'm going to fill it in. So this is also something you want to make sure you go as light as possible, because sometimes the Sharpies can bleed through too much and kind of mess up your overall piece depending on the piece of paper you have or how hard you're pressing down. So I'm going to fill in all of that 3D that you just drew. I'm going to fill in the inside of this. Right? Same thing, so we're going to outline this 3D and then fill it in. Take your time. You don't have to rush through it. You have a lot of time. So as you're filling this in, I want you guys to start thinking about what two colors you want to use for this. Now you can use complementary colors, which could be yellow and purple, orange and blue, like the one that I've used is another set of complementary colors. There's also red and green. Those are more Christmas colors, but if you have different shades of greens or different shades of reds, you can play around with that variation as well. And it doesn't have to be two-tone colors. If you want to do rainbow colors or like multicolor, that's okay too. So yeah, just think about those colors. I'm also thinking about what colors I might want to use for this. I might end up just using orange and blue again, just because I really like that combination of colors. It's pretty playful and vibrant set of colors. So if you're done before I am with filling in the 3D, what you can do is start erasing all the pencil marks that you don't want. So there it goes. It's kind of what your piece should start to look like at this point. So I'm going to look for an eraser while you guys finish up with your letter fill. Found an eraser. Alright, so now I'm just going to erase all the excess lines that I don't want. Same thing with the V. And the E. There we go. Alright. So now you can use your ruler for dividing the sections of the word. So you kind of just, maybe it's just a hole. So you might even want to start at the edge of your paper. Kind of go like that. So I'm going to set the phone down for a quick second while I do this. So with your pencil, you're going to align a ruler at the edge of that border that you created inside of the border. And you're going to start creating these lines all throughout the piece. You can do horizontal, you can do vertical, whatever your preference is. I haven't tried horizontal, so we'd be interested to see if you guys end up doing that. So you're gonna lay it over the word. So you're gonna start to see these lines go through the word itself that you've created. You're gonna go all the way through. Keep going until the other end of the paper. So start to look something like that. Alright, so this is where your color starts to come in handy. So like I said earlier, if you wanted to do two-tone colors, I'm going to use orange and blue. I have like this really cool blue Posca pastel marker, and I have an orange marker somewhere around here. Where'd it go? I'm gonna probably use this, if not, oh, never mind, just found it. So this is another Posca marker, it's orange. You can also use Sharpies, they work just as great. Alright, so I'm gonna start with the inside of this, so just because I really want to fill in the letters. And I'm gonna just do this strip right here, orange. So I'm gonna lightly fill that in. And I'm using the pencil outline as a guide so I can create that straight line. Definitely take your time when you're working on that. I do the same thing right here. And then just fill it in as best as you can. I'm gonna go skip and do this section as well. So I'm tracing that as best as I can, filling in the inside of the letter O. So and then filling in the letter. Oh. Sometimes you might go overlap with the colors, and that's okay. What's good about overlapping on black is that you can just go over it with the black, so it won't have that much of an effect on it. I'm going to do the same thing down here. So I'm basically filling out almost the entire letter E for this section. And again, if you overlap a little bit with the colors, that's okay. You can go back and fix it. Just try to be careful next time. And take your time with this. Alright, so there you go. Now I'm going to add my blue, which is in the remaining sections. I'm going to start with the L. Same idea. I want to try to line up with that edge as best as I can. And then start filling in. Same thing with that part. And then I'm filling in this section as well. Again, I'm going to go back with the black Sharpie just a minute to edit those sections. I'm going to fill in this part. Fill in this part over here, and then fill in the V, creating that line. Sometimes outlining everything and then filling it in makes it a little bit easier. Alright, so there you go. And now what I'm going to do is outline or touch up the outline, black outline. I'm going to go in and just edit those little mistakes. It's easier to do that when you're already using a black marker. This is what it starts to look like. And now I'm just, cleaning my edges just to make it look a little bit more crisp and clean. And just do that. Alright. So now what you can do is play around and fill in the background with whatever colors you want. and then you have a piece. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and hope to see you soon. Bye.